Hello there. In this tutorial, let's quickly see how you can turn your signature into a logo or a watermark for your photos. Okay, so it's a very simple process, and I'm deliberately showing you something which is like the worst case scenario. Okay, so what I've done here is just literally just used a blue pen on a normal notebook. Just make sure that it is on the plain side of things. But as you're going to find out, okay, it's much better to do this if I zoom in slightly. It's much better if you use a black pen, okay, and also the paper is completely white, and also the lighting is slightly better. Like it should be evenly lit and it should be bright. So the more white the background looks, the better, and the more dark the signature looks, the better. But right now you can see this is not like that, but we will still be able to do the job. But that was just a bonus tip, okay? So what we can do here is, first of all, let's just take the crop tool, and I'm just going to crop it till we only see this. Let's fill this up. And now all we have to do, just the main thing is to basically select the dark parts. Okay. So how you do that is you can go to select, you can go to this option that says color range, and then usually this will be set to sample colors by default. So you can use that process also, because you get this eyedropper, you can actually select the different tones. But then, especially in this case, okay, because blue, it's kind of gray, becoming light in certain areas and all these things, I'll have to click and add a lot of different tones, okay? That's why having black usually is much better. But here also, what we can say is that Photoshop, you know what? Anything that you notice in this image which is dark, you select that. And how you do that is, instead of saying and going for sampled colors, you can just tell Photoshop that go for shadows. Shadow means go select those areas which you see are dark. So when I do that, you immediately see this is a much better selection. So basically, here what you're seeing, and by the way, you might not be seeing this, you might actually be seeing the image, and you may be seeing that black and white version here. That's because in the selection preview, it'll be set to none by default, okay? But you can set it to grayscale so that instead of this little thing, you actually see the whole selection here, because anything right now that is white means it's selected, or is going to be selected once we click OK, and anything that is black is not selected. So remember, we said select the shadows, means select the dark areas, which are actually the dark areas, the actual ink. So it has selected that, and you can see it has done a pretty good job. But in case you find it's not done a very good job, you're seeing some gaps here and all, you always have this slider. So you can see. So fuzziness is just a term basically for the tolerance level of the selection. So we can say, so you can see if I go here, can you see it starts to now miss out on some of the shadows here. So you can play around till the time, yeah, we're just increasing the tolerance. We're saying, yeah, a bit more, till the time you see those areas fill up nicely. But not too much, so that if I go too high, then it also considers these parts as shadows. Because again, remember, I just clicked this without really taking care of the lighting and all. So the lighting was not too bright, and the paper was not too white. So now at certain point, even this will be considered a bit of shadows. Okay, so that's why I said those bonus tips really help when it comes to taking the actual shot. But something like this is fine. You don't have to be too much of a perfectionist. Like something like this is okay. So maybe, yeah, you can see now I'm not noticing anything here, right? So this much is fine, and I can click on OK now. So you can see we've got our selection here. And now what I can do is just go to your adjustment functions, because we need to change the color, okay? So you can go and hit the solid color adjustment function. So just do that. And now we've got this on a separate layer with the selection, and I can change the color. So if I want to turn this into black, I select black. If I want to turn this into white, I can select white, okay? And you can see, right, it's not doing 100% a great job. That's because, remember, I'm showing you the worst case scenario. If you use a brighter paper and a darker ink, you won't have this issue. But even with this, you're going to find out ultimately this is going to look small on a photo if you use it as a watermark. So it's going to work, okay? So even on a worst case scenario, you will be able to get by. So I can select anything like this. Now, the only thing is we want this background to go away. We don't want this paper to be seen, so which is here, right? So now we've got our selection on a separate layer, so we can simply drag this and delete it. So now we have an empty background, okay? And now I can also change the color anytime I want. So usually you'll be either using, on dark photos, you'll be using the white color, and on brighter photos, you usually use darker colors. Okay, so black mainly. So let's say I have got, so I'm going to use white because the photograph that I'm going to be showing you is slightly dark. So this was a long exposure shot that I took in Singapore. So let's say we are going to put something like this right here. So it's already white. All I need to do is, so you can save this, okay, as a PSD file. So here I can just like, give it a name. It says, watermark or logo or signature watermark, whatever you want to call it, and save it as a Photoshop document so that you get this intact and you can change the color anytime. Or if you know that, yes, 100% you're only going to be using black or white, then you can also export them as a PNG image. PNG images will mean that there's no background, okay? So you can do that also. But later, let me just quickly show you that this works well. So I can just drag this here. You can also resize and do all these things that you want later on. All that can be done while exporting. But you can see if I was to like put it right here, let's say I can decrease the opacity of this layer a bit, something like this. It's up to you completely. Maybe this is too big, so I can just transform this. And maybe we went too low on the opacity. It'll be something like this. This creates a signature logo. So this is, a lot of people like to do this also because this looks more organic, more natural. But if you also are interested in learning how to create like a professional looking logo, something like, or a watermark that you're seeing here, okay, which is also mine. So here for these kind of things, I recently created another video, which was about creating a proper logo for your photography business. So do check that out. You'll probably see on the top the link to the video. I'll also post the link in the description. So yeah, pretty easy process. And I hope that you like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.